Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Robin, and this week we don't have a lot going on. I will be going to a Shabbat service this week, and I think Chris and I are having a date. But for the most part, it's just going to be reading. You know, it's the start of a new month, and I'm way more excited about the books I'm going to read in February than the books I was reading in January. So let's just go ahead and get into them. So Sunday night I wrapped up the vlog, and then I read like another chapter and a half of a gay synagogue in New York. And it was really cool. It goes into like the history of how this synagogue was started and how it changed over the years. And so it sounds really cool, and it's something that I would like to see if maybe I can go to it when I'm in New York, if it still exists. That's the part I don't know, because the book that I'm reading was written in like the late 90s, I think. So a lot has changed since then. So I had to look into that. On my way to and from work yesterday, I listened to more of The Glass Ocean. So I'm about a quarter of the way through now, and I like it a lot. Any audiobook that has me make the same facial expressions as the characters are described as having is a good book. That's how you know that I'm pretty into it, because I could feel my face like changing based off of what I was hearing instead of me just being like la la la. It's really good. They are, so the two characters that are in 1915 are on the ship. The ship have left the dock. The first class passenger, her name is Caroline, and I feel bad for her. She so clearly wants to be a good wife and wants to have a close relationship with her husband, and for whatever reason it's just not happening. And unsurprisingly, she's sort of like she had a moment where she's like, you know what? I want to kiss my best friend. And then she did. I don't know what happens after that. I will find out tomorrow. But what I did find was interesting, that this best friend, his name is Robert. He also had a run-in with the other POV that we get in that time frame. Her name is Tess. And they have a conversation, and I feel like there was chemistry there, and I kind of want Tess and Robert to get together instead of Caroline and Robert. Other than that, yeah, it's a good book. I'm looking forward to reading more of it tomorrow. Today has been just me doing a lot of like meetings and trying to get stuff done, but I've also been sort of struggling the past couple days because I've had that dizziness thing again. I think it's, you know, an inner ear issue, and I'm sure I should go like get it checked out. But last time I went to get it checked out at the beginning of the month, they pretty much just said like, yeah, we could give you something, but it's also just gonna go away on its own. So I'm just, hi Reese. So I don't know. We'll see how I feel tomorrow, and maybe I'll go to urgent care on Thursday. But so right now I'm just laying down. The dizziness isn't bad. It's just, it's there, and it's distracting more than anything. And Reese. So, I think for the rest of the night, I'm just gonna read. Yeah, this is my life, where I just get continually hit in the face with the tail. So, I'm just going to read more of a gay synagogue in New York. I would like to get a lot of stuff. Oh, yeah, I'm so distracted. I would like to get more of it read so that I'm not, you know, dragging on it. Because I have 9 books I need to read this month. I don't know how I'm going to do that. So that's sort of my plan. Reese is making filming very difficult. But yeah, that's it. Hopefully tomorrow I'm in a better mood and I can film some more and do that stuff. So, we'll see. So, I haven't filmed any B-roll, so you just get to look at my face some more. I've listened to about a little over 2 more hours of The Glass Ocean. I'm really enjoying it still. I have a favorite character, but I don't have a character that I actively dislike, so that's good. I'm only, I think, like 38% through, and I'm not gonna lie, like, I really want to keep listening to it. Like, I might pick it up tomorrow in, like, physical form so that I can continue reading the story, because I'm really enjoying it. But my concern is that if I do that, then I just will continue to put off A Gay Synagogue in New York, which I'm also enjoying, but it's just nonfiction, and that's just harder for me to get into. So in The Glass Ocean, we are, I think I'd already said, like, we're at sea now. The historian perspective, the one that's in, like, 2013, her name is Sarah. She's in England with a descendant of someone who is on the Lusitania, and they're gonna go through, like, the family papers and try to figure out, like, what really happened. And in the other perspectives of the people who are on Lusitania, some things have happened, you know? There's this guy, his name is Robert, he's the ancestor of the guy Sarah's with. He's just getting kissed left and right. So far he's gotten kissed by both perspectives. And, I can only imagine he's feeling very confused, because he has great connection with both of them. I'm rooting for one more than the other, but I like the underdog. She's my favorite. I really enjoyed Tess. Like, I think she's great. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to continuing to read that. I don't know if I'm going to pick it up tomorrow, or I'll just wait till Friday and listen to the audiobook some more, because I like the narrators, too. There are 3 of them, one for each perspective. But it's a little jarring sometimes, because, like, obviously they have different voices, so it's just a little jarring to go to from chapter to chapter. Other than that, I had some free time today, so I read some more of The Leather Couch, which I have on Kindle. I will probably listen to it in audiobook whenever I finish The Glass Ocean, just to get it done, but I'm about 51% now. I read about 10% while I was at work, and it's good, it's informative. You know, I like that it goes into more aspects of kink that aren't necessarily talked about a lot. Like, I don't know a lot about, like, primals, who are people who are primal. They're more they tap into the more animalistic side, but they also don't abide by, like, the same rules and hierarchies that a lot of kinky people do, but they still have, like, rules and protocols and stuff like that. So it's really interesting learning about that. And then some of what I read today was about, you know, sane, safe, and consensual, and risk-aware kink and stuff like that. And so it's just really nice. It's just really nice to read about something that I am really interested in. So I'm hoping I can finish that sometime in the next couple weeks. I should be able to, but we'll see. So that's just a little quick update of what I've read today. I don't foresee myself reading much more tonight. I'm fairly tired, but hopefully tomorrow I can have a lot of reading done. So So I read a decent amount yesterday. I was doing a lot of errands and stuff, but I read about 56 pages of A Gay Synagogue in New York. So I have less than 100 pages left, so I'm going to try to really finish it today. We'll see if that happens, because I do have to work. I just have a shorter day than usual. And I think it's really interesting because he's getting into like the inner workings of the temple and the different aspects of it. So like last night I just read a chapter about the Talmud class and how it was led by a man named Aaron, who used to be essentially like a quasi-rabbi at the very beginning of the temple. And this temple is really interesting to read about because it doesn't really have a denomination. So for those of you who don't know, in Judaism there are 4 main branches of it. The main ones. There are others, but there are 4 main branches in the US, I'll say. And if someone tells me I'm wrong, like, I probably am. So, but the 4 that I know are Orthodox, Reform, Conservative, and Reconstructionist. And so a lot of temples will be like a Reform temple or a Conservative temple or something like that. Like they have a branch of Judaism that they really adhere to. A lot of temples, though, especially ones that are lay-led, don't have a denomination. And this one at the very beginning didn't. And I looked it up. It is still operating, and I think it's still non-denominational. So that's kind of cool. So it's cool reading about how that all works and how it impacts its congregants, because there are some people who like how eclectic it is, and there are some who want it to be more traditional and more orthodox or more reform or you know, it's just really interesting to read about, especially because like that's not my experience, because I do go to a Reform temple. So I just think it's really cool. Especially just reading about how temples form, like how temples get started and all the different parts that go into running a temple. Because while I know that, like, I'm on the board for the 20s and 30s group at my temple, so I know how that operates, but there's so many other aspects of making sure that a shul just stays running. So I'm really enjoying it. It is a slower read just because it's nonfiction. So, but hopefully I'll finish it today. If not today, then definitely tomorrow. I also started reading a book for February because I was talking to my dad yesterday, and he helped me figure out that, like, if I read 20 pages of the complete Kama Sutra every day, then I will be able to finish it by the end of the month. So that's sort of my plan. I'm pretty much going to read a chapter a day, because the chapters range from like 10 pages to I think like 25 or something. So I might have to have like a bigger push by the end of the month, but it also just depends, because I'm going to read it before I go to bed. And so if I'm awake enough to read another chapter, then yeah, I'll read one. So that's a good plan. I read a chapter last night, and it was just sort of the background of where the Kama Sutra comes from. So other than that, like I said, just doing errands today, gonna try to read, and I'm going to use the cookbook that I got last week, the 52 Shabbats. I've decided I'm going to try to actually have Shabbat dinners. This one will just be me. Chris has an event to go to, and I am actually going to a later service at Temple tonight, so I have time to eat and everything, but I don't have time to like have people over, and I also don't have any Jewish friends in my area, which sucks. But you know, this is my first one, so maybe it's nice that it's just low stakes. And yeah, so I have a somewhat busy day, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. Good morning. I'm determined to finish a gay synagogue in New York today. Not because I'm not enjoying it, but just because I need to really pick up my reading if I'm going to have any hope of actually finishing all the books for the month. So, and I have like 60 pages left, so I'm going to try to finish that now. But I also thought I would check in about The Glass Ocean because I listened to another hour last night. I went to Temple, so I drove a bit. But The Glass Ocean, I am still really enjoying. I still think it's really good. It's getting more plot heavy, which is great. And we're also getting closer to, the sort of like peak conflict of when the Lusitania gets hit by the German U-boat. Because I'm pretty sure it happens like the last day or the second to last day. And there's been a mention of like there's 3 more nights on the ship. So we're getting close. I am worried though because the whole like love triangle with Robert, I worry that they're going to do the predictable thing, which fine. But I think it'd be more fun and more surprising and just a more interesting writing choice to not do the predictable thing. I think that sounds more fun, and that's also the outcome that I want, so whatever. I am curious if in like the modern timeline if Sarah is going to end up with Robert's descendant John, because there's some flirting, but there's also not. So I don't know what to make of their relationship, and this is just showing that I am like a romance reader, that the thing that I'm focusing on the most is not necessarily the plot, but is the romance between the characters, or potential romance between characters. So that's The Glass Ocean. I've been reading the Kama Sutra before bed. It's been 2 nights. And I'm sorry if you can hear the heat going now. I started filming when it was off. But, so I'll wrap this up quickly. But I've been reading the Kama Sutra. I didn't read a full chapter last night because I started getting really tired, so I'm going to try to catch up tonight. But I'm only 38 pages in, I think. So it's just about background. We haven't gotten to any actual Kama Sutra-ish things. So, alright. Let's finish A Gay Synagogue in New York. So I finished reading A Gay Synagogue in New York. I put it through Cawpile, and I ended up giving it a 4.5 out of 5 because I thought it was really well written. Moshe Shokeid is the author, and he's great. I think he did a really good job. He was, from what I can tell, honest, but also very compassionate. The second to last chapter, which was about how the AIDS epidemic impacted the synagogue, because this was written in 1995, and so the AIDS epidemic was very present while he was doing his research. And the second to last chapter that talks more about that in depth. It's sprinkled throughout, but it was more in depth in that chapter, and it like straight up made me tear up, just because I can't imagine how I was pretty much imagining like if that was something that was impacting my temple, how it would feel. And so it's just heartbreaking to think about. But I think that it was, of course the heat started. I think that it was very informative. I think it made me think a lot about my own temple, which is I don't know if I would say it's a gay shul, but it is centered in the gay neighborhood in Chicago, and it's very inclusive. I guess that's a way to put it. I don't know if I would describe it as like gay, because I think maybe half of the congregants identify as queer in some way, including myself, but I don't know. So it was just an interesting thing to sort of look at and compare my own experiences with a temple that has a very strong queer presence with what Moshe was reporting on. So it was really interesting. I definitely recommend it, especially if you are someone who's very present in temple life or on any committees or anything in a temple, because I definitely saw some like dynamics in there. I'm like, yeah, I've been there. So it was just a really interesting read. I'm glad I read it. And I asked Siri what I should read next, and she said The Stolen Songbird, which is the fantasy book that is the lowest rated that I had. Lowest rated at a 3.9. So if I end up reading more today, then I will be picking that up. So that's my little update. Did I do anything today? No. Did I start Stolen Songbird and read over 200 pages? Yes, I did. I'm really into it. It's almost 11 o'clock at night. I have to wake up at 6 a.m. to go to work tomorrow. So it's a very poor decision on my part, but when you get into a book, you really get into it. So I'm gonna try to sum it up quickly, so I do need to go to sleep, but also I wanted to show you how cute Bastion is. He's just been laying like that while I've been reading. Granted, I've only been reading like 70 pages while I've been up here. Okay, but so the story is about Cecile. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I don't know. But anyway, within the first 30 pages, she gets kidnapped. Hell of a way to start a book. So she gets kidnapped and taken beneath the Forsaken Mountain, which, great name. That's like Tolkien level naming. But it turns out that she is kidnapped because there was a prophecy that the prince, Tristan, marrying a human girl would break the curse that keeps the trolls buried beneath the mountain, essentially. So Cecile is not willing to help, but she has no choice. She is bonded, which is sort of like a wedding ceremony. She's bonded to Tristan. Neither of them are into it, but due to being bonded, there is the wonderful trope that I love so much and I don't see nearly enough in any romance, which is I don't even know how to describe it. So I guess like soul bonding, like you can feel your bonded's feelings in this case. I've seen it in like fanfic as like thoughts and stuff like that, but I love this trope. Super glad it's there. And Tristan is very hot and cold with Cecile. He seems to care about her, but also is very mean to her in front of other people so that people don't think they care about each other. But, I mean, they do. But it's really fun. I don't want to give away too much because I was pleasantly surprised by a plot development, and so I don't want to ruin that for anyone else. But I'm really enjoying it. Cecile is starting to figure out how this society works and the different struggles that the half-bloods, who are people who are not fully troll, she's starting to really get a sense of the half-bloods' struggles and wanting to help them. And so she still wants to escape, but she also wants to help people, which I can get behind. So yeah, it's really good. Dude, it was so cute. I'm gonna edit this so you wouldn't have seen it, but I just yawned and I was looking right at Bashan, and when I opened my eyes he was yawning right at me, and that was really cute. I really enjoyed that. I feel like we bonded. Yeah, I don't want to tell you a ton about the book because I don't want to give away spoilers. I'm really enjoying it. I think I understand why it was a 3.9. You know, not that it's badly written. Like, I don't know what I'm going to give it. I mean, I've read 243 pages a day, so clearly I don't hate it. Clearly I'm not even just, like, ambivalent about it. I actually thoroughly enjoy it. And I'm really tempted to put the second book in the series on my wish list already. So I really recommend it if you are a fan of, like, I don't even want to say it's high fantasy. I don't think it is. Young adult fantasy with some heavier themes and some complicated feelings. And I'm really hoping that it all works out, because I don't do books that don't have a happy ending. So if this doesn't have a happy ending, I'm gonna be really pissed. But I need to go to bed. I spent way too much time reading. I will probably not bring this book with me to work tomorrow. Probably. I don't know for sure. I'm very tempted, but I also know that tomorrow is Sunday, and a lot of the YouTubers that I watch release videos on Sundays, and I usually watch, like, bits of them in between my meetings, so I don't know. We'll see. But good night. Good evening. It is very late on Sunday. I keep filming late at night, which is a mistake, but I had a pretty good day. Work wasn't awful. Yay. And then I went to sushi with my best friend, and then we went book shopping, of course. And I'm upstairs. I don't have the books with me to show you, so I'm just gonna tell you about them and put, like, a, you know, cover here. So I only got 2 books. I was in, like, a really picky mood today. Like, I wanted some gay romance, and I couldn't find any that I hadn't already read that I was interested in. So so I got a book called The Italian Girls, which is a historical fiction set in, it has a dual timeline. One of them is present day, the other one is World War II, and it deals with an older woman in the present timeline, sort of remembering how she participated in World War II. And so the timeline in World War II is with that same woman, but also an Italian actress who apparently helped during the war. There's not a ton that I can remember off the top of my head, so sorry. I will give more information when I'm reading it, but I do remember on the cover it said something about how the author was trying to highlight how real women participated in World War II and helped. And so I think this is, you know, based off of real events, and so I'll have to look more into that. So, but it looked really interesting. I am apparently feeling historical fiction right now. The other book that I got was the Nick and Charlie novella, the one with an updated cover by Alice Oseman. Nick and Charlie is a novella that is a it's written. It's not in a graphic novel like the Heartstopper series. And I believe it takes place between volumes 2 and 3. I could be wrong about that, and if I am, I will put when it is actually set. So, and I really love Heartstopper. I'm desperate for season 2, and so I had the Nick and Charlie novella on my Amazon wishlist, so when I saw it at the store, finally, because my Barnes & Noble didn't have it, I just had to get it. But the main reason I'm filming is, 1, to wrap this vlog up, but 2, I finished Stolen Songbird. It's amazing how quickly I can read when I really enjoy a story. And that's not to say that I haven't enjoyed the books that I read last month or that I've been reading. It just means that this one really got me. It ended up getting 4.5 out of 5, which is pretty good for my lowest rated fantasy, which still cracks me up. But Stolen Songbird, the magic system made a lot of sense to me. There were just some things that I felt like... So, the trolls can't lie, which I thought was interesting because I know that's an aspect with some, like, fairy tales. I don't know enough about trolls. And so, but in the story, the trolls can't lie, but of course, you know, words are malleable, so, you know, what is a lie, really? But there were a couple instances, especially towards the end, where I felt like that was a pretty blatant untruth, and it was never really explained. I'm sure that, I guess I'm giving benefit of the doubt here, but I'm sure that there was like a loophole somewhere in there, and I was just like going through the story quickly, so that, not because I wasn't enjoying it, like I said, I was really enjoying it. I wanted to see how it ended. I wanted to see what happened next. On the cop pile, my intrigue was high. It actually made it really hard to focus on listening to the Glass Ocean today, because I'm just like, I just want to keep reading Stolen Songbird. So I really enjoyed it. I think it was a lot of fun. Like I said, I gave it a 4.5. You know, if you're looking for a young adult fantasy that it does have some like darker themes, but nothing too heavy, really. I thought it was very emotional, and not like sobbing my eyes out or anything, but like it dealt a lot with emotions. And it was just really interesting to see Cecile and Tristan, because they have such different outlooks on life, and they have such different approaches to it. Like, Cecile is very, like, she's portrayed as, like, the stereotypical human. And she's, like, she acts based off of her emotions. She's very rash. She can be very brave, but because of this impulsiveness and emotionality, she doesn't make the most logical choices. Whereas Tristan has pretty much spent his entire life making logical choices, trying to always plan things out in order to succeed with his goal. So I thought that was really interesting. So like I said, like, if you're looking for a young adult fantasy with a not too complicated magic system, but complicated relationships, check this one out. And I did add well, actually, I went ahead and just bought the sequel from Pango. So I should be getting that soon. I did listen to about 10% more of the Glass Ocean. I don't really have a ton to update right now about it. I still don't know what's happening with the love triangle. I want the twist that I'm predicting will happen, but I'm worried that it won't, and I'm worried that will impact my enjoyment of the novel, because I feel like that's too predictable. Hence why I want the twist. But I'm still enjoying it. Just tonight I was a little distracted because I had a different book in mind. I have not read any more of the complete Kama Sutra. I didn't read any last night. I'm not going to read any tonight. I will try to read tomorrow morning before I go to work. But we'll see, because I do need to read more of that. But that's it. Yeah, like I didn't read almost 500 pages in about 24 hours. So hey, I finished 2 books this week. That's pretty good. Don't know what I'm going to read next. Like I said, I'll read the complete Kama Sutra tomorrow, and then I will pick up another one of my books. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this vlog up. This is turning into a 10-minute clip because I'm just rambling about how much I love Stolen Songbird. Sorry. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I think I had a pretty good week, you know? This week I think was better than last week in terms of reading, but also in terms of mood, which is great. And, you know, I'm looking forward to some changes that are coming up, and I hope that they have a good impact on me, and that I can continue to read more and find more books that I enjoy. I still haven't read a 5-star book yet, which is okay. I'm a little surprised. I really thought Stolen Songbird was going to get a 5-star, but it didn't. I think mainly because of the plot choices. I ranked that one not low by any means, but I docked it a couple points because of the logic. I docked the logic because of the lie thing. That really stuck me. But yeah, comment, especially if you've read Stolen Songbird, because I would love to gush about it some more. But leave me comments. I really like talking to people in the comments and getting to know anyone who watches my videos a little bit better. But like the video, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.